Okay. Will you take care of bagging the bathroom trash? Because there's like a lot of tampons and stuff like that. And it can go out in the Saturday. And I mean, it can go out in the trash tomorrow then.
There's one tampon in there. Just say, I don't mind doing it, but we're not about to say that it's my responsibility to do it because I filled the trash cans. No.
Well, one thing I do, like I just was gonna bag it and then I looked in there and I'm like, ugh. But one thing I do is I wrap my tampons like in some toilet
I
paper.
did that.
Okay, because I just saw one sitting in there, so I was just
I don't agree that
a
that's.
little ooped out.
I don't agree that that was in there. I could go look in there right now, and I guarantee you that wouldn't be the case.
Oh, well, that's nice. But yeah, it's just I wouldn't mind at all, I guess, if things were wrapped.
I didn't not wrap it. So
You want to see? I mean, the string was like hanging out.
that doesn't mean it's not wrapped. Yeah, I'm not digging my hand down in there, but yeah, I wrapped it.
Teacher, did you take my great book downstairs?
Yeah, it's downstairs with the books.
On the right or left of the mantle?
As with the other great books, it's just right on top.
Over in the big stack of them?
Yes.
Well, maybe you could just wrap it a little better next time, because it's like all bloody and the string isn't wrapped, and it's just kind of feels like hard to deal with for me. But
Okay.
if you just
it would
wrap
be
it
a lot
really good.
easier to deal with if we actually had like trash bags in the trash can. That way, no one has to touch any trash to change the trash. And this is a problem whether or not tampons are in the trash can. That trash can just regularly just gets filled, and since there's no bag in it, it's not easy to change it for anybody, whether there's tampons in it or not. It doesn't tend to have very nice things to touch in it, whether there are tampons in it or not.
Yeah.
So I don't agree that this problem is occurring because I had a period. So I really don't
It's
appreciate.
not occurring because
Well,
you
it
had
just
a period.
just seems like that's the context. We're coming, and Deidre needs to solve it all of a sudden because Deidre had tampons. But this is a problem that happened.
Well, I take
well
the trash
before.
out all the time. This trash, like I'm the only one who ever changes it.
I agree that you're the only one who ever changes it, but I don't think that it happens quote all the time. That's just my
It
experience.
doesn't happen often enough.
Many times I've wanted to throw things away in that trash can, but was completely unable because it was filled. That's usually.
And it never occurred to you to empty it.
There again. Why do I have to be the one to implement a system like putting trash bags into your trash can and stuff like that? I feel like
Just to be
it's
helpful.
but it's your house, and these things should already be in place. Like they should have been in place when you
Well,
moved in
let's
10
not
years
shoot
ago.
each other.
But that's the objective truth.
Well, not really, because that's a judgment. You should.
Yes, it's a judgment, not necessarily on you specifically, but just on how things should be objectively. So I'm not doing a personal attack. Well, I feel
I'm just asking for something.
I see that might make you uncomfortable, and maybe I might change the way that I frame my sentences going forward because of that. But I'm not going to make a promise to do that. I do believe in should as a rule for people. So I do operate on that and I communicate in that way.
We need to not should each other because it's a
I
blaming activity.
no, so you're using the word we,
Yeah.
but you should be saying I don't like that.
I think that it would be counterproductive.
And I have a different opinion. So we're gonna have to deal with that as we go along, but I hear what you're saying.
I was just asking if you, okay, why don't I just ask this? Can you just wrap them a little better? That's all. Just a few extra wraps so that whoever does change it isn't like looking at some bloody thing that's seeped through.
Sure. Can I
Okay.
also ask you in return to maybe start putting trash bags in the trash can so that other people can change the trash can without it being a giant hassle?
I'll look into it.
I felt the same way about your request. So no promises here either.
I mean, I haven't had to really deal with wrapping stuff for a really long time.
The relevance,
No, I haven't had a period in a long time.
relevance.
And I'm not trying to embarrass you or anything, like I just. See it as kind of like just hygienic to properly wrap it so that.
I also see a hygienic problem happening with that trash can aside from any of my tampons. So again, we're right back to where we were.
There's no point in making it worse though by not properly wrapping the tampon.
That's just not my perspective. So
Well, I just looked again, just to double check myself, and it's all bloody and it's not wrapped properly, and I'm just asking you to do that.
I also asked for something in return, and since I didn't get a promise, I don't really see why I should give you one.
Well, Deidre, I'll look into it, it's not saying no, it's just, I have to think about how that's gonna work.
Okay.
Like, do I wanna invest in little
Okay, but
bags, or do I wanna use Kroger bags? That was what I was thinking at that moment.
maybe you should have communicated a more accurate response than that
Are you
didn't.
shitting me again?
I said maybe. So maybe we could listen a little bit better to what people are saying.
Every request into an argument.
Well, I
Just
feel
like, do it.
well,
Just be like, okay, no problem.
I started with that. First of all, I said I did not mind doing that, and here we are still arguing.
Well, because you said that it wasn't true what I said, but I just saw it in the trash can.
You said that I didn't wrap it at all. That wasn't true, objectively speaking.
Well, if a person can't even tell if it's wrapped because it's like all bloody and the strings hanging out, then it's really not wrapped. You know what I'm
Well, I feel like you couldn't tell that it was wrapped more because it was covered with trash than anything.
Maybe you could just use your bathroom for that. And then we don't have to ever discuss it again.
I don't think I can make that promise.
You have a liner in your trash can downstairs?
Like I said, I don't think I can make that promise. That's just not how it logistically works
I
in
mean,
this
if you're gonna
house.
call the pot full of water.
At least I could be honest about not making a promise.
I feel like you to do something, I want you to just be graceful and do it.
That's not how I work, Linda. You're never gonna get that.
Well, to me, that's respect.
Well,
you
to the
think-
rest of the world, that's just slavery.
Slavery, yes.
I don't ask for a lot.
I don't agree.
It's not about the quantity, it's about the nature of the interaction.
If you just expect for people to say yes because you asked, that is
No.
immoral.
Not anybody, I'm not just asking anyone else. either.
No, I'm not. I didn't say anybody. Us. Us.
I'll grab down and support you to just.
Yes, and usually when people help people, they just help to help. They don't expect things in return.
Okay, then why
That
don't
is
you
m-
just do that?
What are you talking about?
Why don't you just help to help?
I do.
But I'm asking you to help.
I don't have to help you in every way that you ask. I have my own free will.
They're very small things.
Yes, some of them are, and some of them are even small things can be inconveniences or
See?
presented in ways that are immoral.
Right, but you know what?
If you're asking for a small thing, but you're expecting me to
I'm
just
gonna
do
clean
it.
up after your tampons right now, okay?
Oh yeah, just like I've cleaned up that for you all day. Good for you.
You didn't clean up after me all day.
Yes, I did. Your kitchen. You're constantly leaving crap in your kitchen. If I just let you leave all the things that you leave on the counters, no one would be able to use them. I've been cleaning up after you all for the whole 4 months that I've been here.
I didn't
Yes.
ask you to do that. All
I
asked
didn't-
you to do-
You
all
don't
asked
need
you
to ask. You don't need to ask. And you asking is irrelevant. If I want to use the kitchen, I have to clean up after you. That's just how you operate in the kitchen.
Deidre,
Yes.
I only require you to clean up after yourself.
Yes, I generally do. None of us are perfect at cleaning up after ourselves in this house. Not one of us.
Right, so
But I make a good effort, better than most in this house.
for 4 months, all I dealt with was you guys' dirty dishes and you guys leaving them for days.
Okay.
Okay,
Go back
so
to this, okay.
I'm happy that you're back on, okay? But it's
And
not,
we were never as off as you were making it seem and have made it seem.
look, I observed it on a daily basis.
And you've exaggerated what you observed when you sat here and expressed yourself to us. Yes.
Well, maybe you didn't notice because you weren't up
Or
here
maybe,
for like
maybe
weeks.
you're exaggerating or mistaken, like you thought it was midnight when it was 9.
That can happen.
It happens pretty frequently with you. You made like 3 mistakes in a row. So I think that it's very likely that you might be mistaken or exaggerating in some of your perceptions.
Hey, it's possible.
So
And I don't expect you to bring that to my attention because I expect you to cut me some slack. And if there's something that you had a hand in doing, like leaving a poorly wrapped tampon.
again, I said I would clean it up because again, I had a hand in doing it. So I don't know why you're acting like I'm not willing to do that.
Well, I didn't hear that.
That's the first thing that came out of my mouth. I'm willing to do that, but. So the fact that I have it recorded, so the fact that you didn't hear that says something about you and your listening ability.
Yeah. And I expect you to cut me some slack.
About your listening ability?
Yeah, everything. Everything.
Okay. As soon as you start cutting me as the amount of slack that you're asking for, I might consider giving
Oh,
it back to you.
I have been cutting you amazing amounts of slack.
So have I.
But not the amount you're asking for.
No,
Yeah.
no.
You don't
don't
even
agree.
know.
Well, quote
You
everything.
don't even know what it's like
Quote
to
everything.
invite people
End
to your
quote.
house who then get all like highfalutin about and judge you and every time you just ask them to
Defensive
do a little
judging,
task.
Complaining
No,
about
not every
defensive
time.
judging.
Again, we're playing the Linda exaggeration game. Not
It's
every
happening
time.
right now.
Yes, it is happening right now,
That
but
you
it does
can't
not
just
happen
say,
every time.
"Okay."
It does not happen every time. I can name like 5 things that you've asked me to do this week that I did right there, like vacuuming your freaking carpet earlier. Yes, it.
From all the food that
Yes,
Lauren
but the
spread.
point is, you asked me to do it, and I did it without any argument. So you cannot say that I just argue every single time you ask me to do something.
I should have had to ask.
You shouldn't have
You
had
didn't
to ask.
have
It
to.
was on my task list, and I didn't get to it in time. I absolutely will admit to
The
that.
only reason I asked was because it had been 2 days.
Yes, I understand
And
that.
it was just like, you know.
But
what it was
again,
like.
my point is, you asked me to do something, and I did it quickly with no argument. So you cannot sit here and say that every single time you ask me to do something, that I do not do it and I argue with you. That is my point.
She argued.
you said something incorrect.
It's about you being rude.
Let's not acknowledge the part where you sat here and said something completely false.
I am the person who feeds you, clothes you, houses you,
Yes,
drives you around,
and none of that takes away my free will.
forgives
None of
when
that
you have to argue about
None
every
of that
little
means that I
thing.
have to do every single thing you say. It means I should try to be as helpful to you as I can, and I do.
Okay, well, what would
But
be
it does
really-
not mean that I
what
have to
would
do
really be
every single thing
helpful
you say.
is to not have to listen to you assert your free will verbally every time I ask for something.
Well,
I
then-
don't.
Well,
I just sat here and
a-
explained to you that I
100
do not do that every single time.
100% of the situations where you don't come verbally assault people, that doesn't happen.
Do you consider this a verbal
Yes.
assault?
Yes, you
Okay.
expect me to do something with no real right to expect me to do it.
Deidre, okay, could you just please put your tampons in your own thing, and then we won't have to, like, use your bathroom for that stuff, and then we won't have to revisit this.
Again, I will not promise to use my own bathroom. Again, I'd be having a son sleeping down there. So that's just not logistically sound. But I will certainly make sure that I do not have to have this conversation again, one way or another. Okay, here you can see your tampon.
Do you not consider this a verbal assault?
Here you can see your tampon.
Yes, what are you talking about? This one?
Yes.
Yes, this one doesn't have any blood on it. It's not, or it barely does. It's not the one you were talking about.
It looks like it tried to be wrapped in that.
I'm pretty sure that is a wrapped tampon.
Yeah.
Another one, not the one that you're pointing to.
Okay, so all I'm saying is just wrap it a little better so that it's not falling out and not.
Again, I will
bloody
do something to make sure that this conversation never has to happen again.
Awesome.
Then sit down and tell us the whole story, which as yet we have only heard imperfectly. I took the place which he assigned to me, by the side of Critias, the son of Calliscrus, and when I saluted him and the rest of the company, I told them the news from the army, and answered their several enquiries.